Wow. This is a very cool chapter. A lot of cool moments, a lot of cool things. Part of Kagurabachi's energy every week is the unknown, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And that quality continues to get refined. Because you get a situation like this where there's a lot of different things happening, a lot of cool things going on, people breaking off into different fights, and while the picture becomes clearer, another thing gets attached to it to make it all messy again. It's a very nice quality that Hokuzono has with his story. He always gives you a question, which is then followed by said answer alongside another question. So while you're digesting your answer, we're now moving on to the next question. And when that question is bigger than anything that is currently going on, it gets a little scary. Let's talk Hirohiko. I love this character. Twitter seems to also love this character, but in the opposite way of thinking that he is a bum. I disagree. I think Hiko is incredibly scary for a ton of different reasons. This is the shoujo equivalent, replacement, evolution, whatever, for Kagurabachi's story moving forward. Chihiro needs a primary villain for him and him alone. Hiko can be that, and I think he will continue to be that. We are at the beginning of Hiko's development. We got a bit of a flashback. We got reasoning why he operates the way that he does, why he has so much potential to thrive above and beyond a lot of his opponents. The reason he continues to be scary is just you don't know what he's going to accomplish when he is pressurized. The leading reason why I find his character so magnetic is when he is under pressure, he evolves, he survives, he adapts. This idea has a ton of rooted potential within it. His character's identity, what happened to him as a child, the reason why he is where he is today is because under pressure, he's had to survive. When you push that down a path of horrifying natures and circumstances, you get a very complicated character. And with Hiko, we're just starting to unravel it. We're seeing the tip of the iceberg, but underneath is something potentially so much more special, so much more potent and powerful and skillful. We've seen him use a sword for what feels like a day total. Someone that is inexperienced, someone that is fresh and new to this type of fighting style. So you're looking at two compartments. The one prior, which is what he is born, bred, and survived to be, a killer, a survivor, an adapter, someone that has been put through the paces to survive, and the other, a new style of fighting. So of course, when you smash those two things together, at some point it's going to become pressurized and it's going to explode and he is going to adapt once again. This is that situation. He pulled out an enchanted blade. He used an ability while already significantly weak. And while it is constantly making him weaker, he can't wield it properly, he's still proving how far he's willing to evolve. He may be inexperienced with an enchanted blade. He may be inexperienced with a regular sword, but my god, he is beautiful when he is pushed to his limits. And please do not underestimate his potential. Even just putting him up against Chihiro is a really massive accomplishment with the amount of total experience Chihiro also has. We're looking at years on top of Hiko. But again, it's difficult to scale these two characters because of what they've actually been through. On a technical aspect, Chihiro has been using N10 for a while now. He's very good at it. He's come to understand it, and now he is learning sword styles, the fundamentals, and he's picking that up extremely fast too. But the reason Hiko matches him almost to an equal, perhaps, is because of the prior experience, the childhood that Hiko has gone through. So all of those younger years up to perhaps, let's say, where Chihiro has started, Hiko was surviving and evolving and adapting. So even though he's starting fresh, he still has his own version of that experience. And honestly, it just makes for a compelling battle between these two. The fact that we can't call out who wins just based on clarity and or observation is good. It shouldn't be that simple. And it shows that both of them are well versed and well experienced in different pockets. The potential of this fight is huge, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I don't know how long it will last. Hiko is injured and he's very new to using a regular sword and even newer to using an enchanted blade. But I love that Kumiyuri's ability being illusion and mimicry is perfectly up his alley. Imagine him adapting to that. The type of trickster style that he used for his sword, applying that with an enchanted blade. This man's going to be unstoppable. The playful nature that he can have with illusions and mimics and playing with the overall senses is a ridiculous idea. And when he comes to learn it, understand it, and wield it in its nature, in its truest form, it's going to be horrifying, to say the least. I speak very highly of Hiko because he has the most prospect here. Don't get me wrong, Chihiro is still learning, still growing, still evolving, and I expect him to do as such. And he's doing a beautiful job at that. I'm excited to see how N10 evolves with his learning of sword styles, rather than relying on the enchanted powers. Samura. Of course, this man is horrifying. Rocking up on the battlefield looking like an angel of death, huge wings, teleporting around like it's ridiculous how much aura this man has and how strong he truly is. And he makes quick work of Hiko if it wasn't for Kumiyuri. It was an illusion. Already, I think that's impressive, being able to get it off in time. It is a little bit ham-fisted that the reason perhaps Samura didn't realize he was under an illusion or couldn't do it fast enough, etc. is because of his daughter. He's a little bit distracted. That's perfectly fine. I actually agree. Imagine you rock up to the battlefield and your daughter is there wielding a sword with Chihiro and Hiko, 2 enchanted blades. Kaguri, by the way, nowhere to be seen. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he comes out to play. But now you're in a funny predicament. Chihiro, Hiko, and Toto have gone off to do their own thing. So now you have Samura protecting Iori. Bunch of henchmen, Kaguri perhaps still around. Makes sense. He really didn't want to see his own daughter. He didn't want to talk to her. Slap the seal back on, get it over and done with. Not that simple. I need these two to have a conversation, to talk, to figure it out, to do anything. There's so much pain and suffering and emotion here between them both, and I imagine it is incredibly difficult for Samura to see this situation unravel and all the stuff that he's gone through and the horrors of the future, yada yada. But in this moment now, when your daughter is wielding a sword and threats all around her, you may as well talk. Obviously, when the threat has subsided, at least to a degree, but you know what I mean. I need them to have a conversation. I need them to find a middle ground to share how they actually feel. Because where this story is going, Samura is not going to last long. And if he does get killed, I need Iori to feel that in the most painful way possible. I need that death of Samura to be incredibly tragic and heartbreaking, to rip the soul out of our bodies. You might think I'm a sadist for wanting that, but truthfully, all of the foundation is there for it. It's perfectly leading to that direction of something so beautifully tragic, and having them have a conversation prior and finally getting to perhaps accepting each other and figuring out what they can do moving forward, only for it to be taken away once again, just plays beautifully back into Kagurabachi's themes. That loss of innocence, that forceful nature that imposes onto people, the inescapable horror of surviving and evolving. This story's world is not a kind place. It never has been. Iori has already been through a lot, and unfortunately, it's probably going to get a lot worse. You might ask the question, why would Samura die? Well, it's because Yura is finally moving. I have a question about this situation, right? What is Yura's goal right now? I feel like I can kind of see 70% of the picture, like I get it, but then I also don't get it. They're in Tokyo. They're going for shinuchi, but they're not going for the Sword Saint. Okay, I can believe that. They're going to invade the Kabanabi, get the sword back, get shinuchi, and perhaps dip while Samura is distracted with his daughter. Now they plan to have Samura fight the Sword Saint. In the idealistic version, they both die in the process and Yura wields shinuchi or Magatsumi. Now the question I have is, why go for the sword now? Like, you've made the situation kind of worse for yourself. Does that make sense? You've lost a lot of stones. You still can't wield shinuchi even if you grab it. It's now quadruple sealed. It looks like it has a seal or two on the sword itself and then a seal above it, so it's separated. And now you have to invade the biggest Kagurabachi compound in the heart of Tokyo. When the sword was out originally, why not retrieve it then? Why not gun for the auction house scenario with Yura? That's a surface level question. We'll probably get an answer for it in the upcoming chapters. Clearly there's more to Yura's intention and his involvement. Maybe showing the inability of the Kagurabachi or the government, maybe uprooting government weakness. I don't really know. Theoretically, he can't wield shinuchi right now, but clearly he's getting information very rapidly. This was a sword that just was recently acquired, recently resealed and hidden away. Makes sense that it's in Tokyo, but knowing directly where it is makes me think that the traitor inside is supplying that direct information. Someone of a very high caliber that is dealing with this sword directly to know exactly where it is to pierce from above. Now they're doing this under the blind eye of Samura. They waited for his daughter to kind of break, so they prepped that likely as well. And the ability within the sky has now gone. So Samura theoretically cannot detect what Yura is doing. But why would he need to detect Yura anyway? It's not like he can just randomly wield the sword. Or can he? So now we get into the territory of Kiora and him being able to slightly wield the sword and allow Magatsumi to fester. There's a chance that Yura is planning to do something very similar and forge a perhaps theoretical connection with the Sword Saint to figure out that location. Think about it like this. Yura grabs the sword, not enough time for a decent seal or the trader knows how to unravel it. They get the seal off. Yura wields the sword. He finds out where the Sword Saint's location is because he's connected, closes the sword, manages to not die. He now knows where the Sword Saint is, how to go about it, and he gets to show off a bit of how powerful Magatsumi truly is. The inability of the Kagurabachi to protect this sword and its power, kind of finalizing or proving to Samura that the promised future from the Kagurabachi heads, well, that window is rapidly closing. As usual, I'm very excited to see how this all comes together, and I'm very curious to hear all of your thoughts.